What's going on? Happy Saturday. So I woke up this morning on a mission, right? And what really kicked it off was this goofy black woman statue they put up in New York, right? That really got my juices flowing for this. And we passed time to have this conversation. So I'm starting my Shame the Black Woman series because it needs to be done. And I understand that white man can't do it because he'll be called a racist. And the black man, he's scared to do it because I'm not speaking for every person, right? But for the most part, this generation of black men, they've been demasculated, simplified, and they just weak all around. So they ain't gonna say nothing. And so I feel like it's my duty as a man, it's my duty as a black man to start shaming these black women, right? So I have a few stats I want to share. Google has become my new best friend of lately. Uh, so we're gonna start off with this one, right? According to data from dating apps, right? The two least desirable demographics are number one is the Asian man, and number two is the black woman. The black woman is the least desirable demographic, and I can agree with that. And here's another one, right? So I'm gonna share these stats, but then when you put them all together as a whole, it starts to paint a pretty picture. Well, not so pretty, but it paints a picture for sure. Before I get off into that, let me just say this, right? Okay. I grew up in a time when, back in the days, when black women were modest, they were truly beautiful in their natural state, uh, 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 humble, godly, were being raised to be mothers and wives. And black women were probably, during my time, were probably the most desirable demographic, to be honest with you. And so now here we are, 30, 40 years later, they're the least desirable, okay? According to dating app stats, right? Okay. Now I can believe it because I'm out here in the real world, and I actually I'm outside. I'm out here. I deal with people. I'm not just online, right? So and I see it and I know it, and I'm a man. I know other fellas, and ain't nobody checking for these black girls today, and black women wonder why. Here's why. Okay, so according to data, black women are the least desirable. Hold on. All you're gonna want to do is go back here, man. It's crazy. You're gonna be here whine all day. Move. Get out the way. That's Samson. He's a big baby. If he has to be up my ass every 5 minutes. So, uh, so black women are the least desirable according to dating apps data, right? Uh, uh, Black women spend $1.2 trillion on hair and beauty products. 1.2 trillion. $500 million of that is just on fake hair. 1.2 trillion dollars annually on hair, nails, makeup. They spend all this money on fake beauty, on artificial beauty, and are still the least desirable. Make that make sense. Please somebody make that make sense. How is black women spending $1.2 trillion on hair and beauty products and are still the least desirable? Can somebody please make that make sense for me? And then on top of that, here's another stat. Hold on, I want to get the numbers right. I don't have my glasses, so you might see me squinting. Okay. Black women account for 38% of all abortions in the U.S. White women, 33%. Hispanic, 21%. And then other, being Asian, Native American, what have you, 7.2%. So not only do black women just flush their money down the drain on fake hair, fake nails, fake goofy eyelashes, cake makeup. Not only they throwing their money away on that, right? The look beautiful, right? Not only they doing that, they killing all the babies, right? Right? And not only that, are still the least desirable, right? Hold on, it gets better. Hold on, I'm just getting warmed up, right? Because yeah, I'm on my shame the black woman thing because they out of control, right? Now, let me just preface this with this. There's a YouTuber who goes by Unshakable with April Chapman. Now, this black woman, to me, is the epitome of 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 a woman. You know, not just a black woman, but just a woman. Period. I believe she sets the standard of what a beautiful woman is. She's godly, she's humble, she's smart, she's fearless and bold. Right? She's accepted her role, right? Her position, her responsibility, her duty as a woman. She's accepted that, right? She's found her identity in the Lord, right? So society doesn't dictate her self-esteem, right? Her faith dictates her identity, which shows she glows in her femininity. She is a beautiful example of a queenly woman, right? If somebody was to call her a queen, I would, it would make me smile. She deserves that. You understand what I'm saying? Because she walks in that. She upholds that standard, right? But then when you start calling these orangutans queens, yeah, that's ridiculous. Okay, how you gonna be a queen and you're not queenly? Huh? Somebody make that make sense? How are we calling these women queens and they not queenly? Nothing about them is queenly. Their attitude ain't queenly. The appearance ain't queenly. They're not come on. They're not queens at all. Not even close. They're not even princesses. Okay, let's just stop the cap. Just for a moment, please. Can we just stop the cap just for a minute? All right, here's another stat. Here's another stat. Okay. Black women have the highest rate of single motherhood. Yeah. Black women got the highest rate of single motherhood. Here go the stats. 47% of black women are single mothers. 25% Hispanic are single mothers. I thought that was kind of high for the Latinas. You know what I'm saying? Because within that culture, yeah, it's different. 14% white are single mothers, and 8% Asian. So of course, black women lead the way being single mothers. Black women lead the way of spending money on artificial beauty. Black women lead the way on aborting babies. Black women lead the way as far as being the most desirable. Oh, hold on. Oh, there's more, and there's more. And there's more, right? We live in a day and age where black women are most educated, have the most opportunities, right? And are still at the bottom of every stat, or at the top of every stat, however you want to look at it. You know what I'm saying? And so, with these numbers, and I'm just getting started. I am just getting started, right? This is my first video on this, and I know there will be more because it's time that we start shaming these women, right? And I want to reflect. I had a thought about this earlier. I want to reflect back to April Chapman, right? And I want to make a comparison, right? And I'm gonna be a little crude, right? You know, I'm a devout Christian, so I try to keep my language clean, but I'm also an adult, right? And so you know, I'm gonna drop a few words here and there that may get under the skin of some folks. If it do, grow up, okay? You'll be fine, right? I don't drop F bombs and B bombs I try to keep it as clean as possible, but you will hear a shit, asshole here and there, a dumbass from time to time. Yeah, you're gonna hear these words because they're appropriate at times. Okay, so I was trying to make a comparison, right? April Chapman would be like a diamond to a sexy rose or glorilla, gorilla, whatever she call herself, right? When I see these women, right? They're like a pile of dog shit. So April Chapman is a beautiful gem sitting next to a sexy red who's a pile of dog shit in comparison. It's true, right? And so yeah, shout out to April Chapman, Unshakable. I think you're a very beautiful sister in the Lord, and I love you as your brother in the Lord, and I pray for your success. And you are a fine example of a woman, period. You know what I'm saying? Not just a black woman, but a woman all the way around. And you set the standard. And I think a lot of these ladies should look to you uh, on how to be and how to act. Okay? And so I just wanted to say that. All right, let's have a good day.